So the thing is, so
I'm
you
gonna take my jacket off.
so you bought your 18 and the 7 was just $797.
Yeah.
It was like what, $300?
Yeah, $400.
Okay, so he has a he has. So just for the most recent one that he built, for example, he built his 325 next gen VA boom with the multiprocessor and all the attachments, all hand built, all 3D printed, and then scaled and cut. $2,500
Holy shit.
built from the ground up.
And it has the GPS mass on it too, doesn't it?
You can buy those now. This guy, oh fuck, what's his name now?
And it says Stutzman on it. It's all branded and everything.
So
What the? I was talking to Jay this morning. The amount of money people spend on scale models,
I don't want to talk about it.
I appreciate scale models,
It's a
but
lot.
I don't understand spending
So
tens of thousands of dollars.
I don't like building case models. I do, or not. I don't like building cat models. I do case because nobody else does them.
Yeah, but why would you want that?
Because it's cool and nobody else has it. And I've run that. I've spent that's probably the 145 DSR is probably the excavator I've spent the most amount of hours on.
Really?
Yep. And I fucking love it. It is my favorite machine of all time.
That makes sense. But if you're just getting a case excavator model just because no one has it, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm slowly trying to go through and build all of the ones that I've been on. And then I've got some rare ones like I have 2 of these now. They're pretty hard to find. And then I have one of those, which is really hard to find too.
I don't understand the model game. I appreciate it, I respect it, but I don't understand it.
See, I just like I don't know what it is about it either, but
Although
I just like buying the rare shit that
Well-
really I'll spend some time trying to find it or build it.
I wanted a 6015 just because I like the 6015. It's just a badass machine. I would love to have that on my desk.
That's a whole other conversation.
And then I think it might have been you connected me with some guy that has one. Oh, I have it in the box. Okay, great. Sure. How much is it? $1,200. Whatever.
Yeah.
$1,200. Get out. I'm not spending $1,200.
You could have bought it brand new a year ago, 2 years ago for $600. So
and even that's a little stretch, but I probably would have considered it at $600.
That's the CCM game. I will not buy a CCM model.
I just want a 6015 model. I don't care who the fuck makes it.
You could probably.
I want that and a 6020 model.
Okay, believe it or not, a 6020 is actually cheaper than a 6015.
Really?
Do they come like already put together? You're not having to.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Are we recording right now?
Yeah.
Are we on?
Sure.
Unless it's a crane. The cranes don't.
Sure. Boxes aren't big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not a crane
yeah,
guy.
the 6020B is actually cheaper than.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well, $1,200. Great price. That's not a great price. What the hell?
I don't get the CCM thing.
But I guess they're going up in value. They're appreciating. They're an investment.
The older ones are.
Unless you, but if you
it's
have
the new
to keep
Beanie
it,
Baby.
you have to keep it in the fucking box. You can't take it out of the box.
No, I take it out of the box. They're still worth the same if you take them out of the box.
You know who has a ridiculous amount of models, but they're just like in a closet somewhere?
Anthony?
Ryan Goodfill.
Really?
Yes. I am pretty sure his basement is full of models.
Huh.
I'm pretty sure because I stayed at his house years ago. And he's like, check this out. And loaded with models. But he doesn't have them out anymore. He just has them in the boxes.
Ryan has.
Maybe he's a model investor.
He could be.
He's not a model. He doesn't appreciate them. He's just strategic financial play.
I love talking to him because he's like one of the smartest. He just always has an idea.
We're gonna have him on Dirt Talk. We're going to Salt Lake City in 2 weeks.
Oh, sick!
Mm-hmm.
How's the portable system? Pretty cool.
We're gonna
The podcast portable system.
we're gonna run it in Salt Lake City. We're doing 2 in Salt Lake City.
Is that the first time you've used it?
No.
Oh,
Well,
This is
a This is gonna be the new.
Yeah. So we did one with Sal when we went to First Form.
Mhm.
okay. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But that was sort of like we were
Mm.
kind of still dialing it in because we hadn't really been in this space very long.
Yeah.
We didn't have cameras yet. It was like a whole thing. So Matt just like had his one camera and he just set it up.
Yeah.
But for this one, we'll have like the full camera setup. It's gonna be great. It'll be slick.
Nice.
That was sort of a let's just toss a bunch of stuff in the car and we can make it happen.
Gotcha.
Well, you have to see this Pelican case he's put together too.
Yeah,
It's
I'm almost done.
He was showing it to me last time, and it's like
getting pretty fancy.
not only is it the world's most
I s-
adorable
It is adorable. It is
Pelican
so
case
small.
on the
Mhm.
planet. But
I almost
Ryan-
want to buy one of those just to carry like my wallet and my keys
You open
and my
They-
phones in.
They make those. Have you gotten the ads for like the it's like this big.
Yeah. No,
The
I
little the
I-
tiny- but
I
they're
want
like
one.
$150.
Yeah,
They're
but
more than that thing
just
costs.
carry it around like a briefcase.
Yeah.
you cut out a spot in the foam just for like your key fob, and that's it.
Well, and
Like,
just
hold on, I gotta start my car.
just in case everything floods
Yeah,
It-
just in case
it's
you're
like-
suddenly
at
underwater.
a moment's notice, all of your stuff is good to go. Or someone pushes you into a pool. Not a problem.
You never know.
All my expensive stuff's in my Pelican case, you idiot.
I hate when I'm on site and somebody pushes me into a pool.
A
I almost-
classic
okay.
mishap.
So I almost bought one. I almost charged one of the company card just so I would stop getting ads for them. 'Cause I kept getting a
Well-
fucking ad every day.
When I started the company, I would carry stuff around in Pelican cases.
Yeah.
I had a Pelican case for my drone. It was a Mavic.
Yep.
And I just carry it in a Pelican.
Mm.
And it was awesome because when I would go out on a trip, I'd always be driving. I wouldn't be flying
Mm.
because I'd be driving to California from Arizona.
Right.
So I would pack. I had a big Pelican case with all my cameras and nonsense in it,
Oh,
and then a small Pelican case with my drone.
that's
And so
too
I just
much.
grab the Pelicans, toss them in the trunk of my Camry, and head on out to California.
Yeah. Even like driving, I'd rather have a backpack.
Well, but that's the point of my photography career when I thought having a lot of gear was cool. And so you'd have everything, and it was wildly unnecessary.
Uh-huh.
You didn't actually use any of it,
Yep.
but you felt really cool opening up a case and you're like, yeah, I have all these cameras and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And
Nobody
now
cares.
it's like, I'm trying to carry as little as possible.
I don't even carry a second camera anymore
That is stupid.
because
You should still carry a second camera.
that it's just like
That's a very cheap insurance policy.
I guess, but
Because I will be chewing your ass. If you show up somewhere, you bust your camera, you're shit out of luck, then what?
true. But the
Then what do you do?
the second camera I was carrying wasn't even worth the fuck anyway.
No, you need an identical second camera.
I know. So
I brought 2 identical lenses to Saudi because it was like, if I bust a lens,
see, like
you're shit out of luck on
Yeah.
the other side of the world. It's
Well,
It's
see, my difference is now is that I'm not like I'm going places. I'm in a weird transition where it doesn't like my photos aren't how do I put this? I'm not showing up purposely to take photos anymore. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at now.
yeah, but still.
But still, I get what you're saying. Maybe I'll rearrange. But okay, so here's the reason
Like,
why.
Matt was carrying around 1 camera. I'm like,
Okay,
you don't have 2 cameras? Seriously?
well, hear me out. Here's why I did it though, because I carry the FPV, and the batteries have to go in my bag, and
Oh, yeah.
it was getting to be a lot of weight. It was 48 pounds at one point in my backpack. You know how annoying it is to.
I wonder what.
It almost crushed me one day when I pulled it from the overhead storage bin.
I think
Like,
Angel
help.
still holds the record for heaviest bag.
he
Have you
carries
tried picking up his bag?
he carries the heaviest physical and emotional baggage of anybody at this company.
He's just he doesn't. It's so funny too because he'll at least back in the day he'd have a full backpack of camera equipment
Uh-huh.
and then would have like a cheap satchel full of drone batteries.
Yeah. At one point, he was using he lost the satchel and he was using a Connex, like the tote bag they give you for all the free swag. He was walking through the Miami. It was when we went to North American Mining. He had like the bag that they gave him, and he's walking through the Miami airport with like 100 pounds of batteries in this little bag, and
Yeah.
it's like about to bust at the seams.
Yeah.
The lady at the check-in counter is like, "Oh, okay, well." So back to Pelican cases. The yellow one I carry with the FPV, they always think it's a gun for some reason. They always think it's a firearm.
Well, because that's what
Is it
most people
smaller than this?
put firearms in when
It's-
they travel.
It is probably about twice the size of that one. But it's not a Pelican case. It's some other brand.
Oh, got it.
Because Pelican, I wanted one that I could just drop the FPV in it and not have to cut the foam.
Do you check it?
I checked that, yes.
So you check the FPV, but you bring your backpack in your normal bag.
Nope, I checked the duffel bag too.
Why would you do that?
I-
That's risky business.
Okay,
man.
well, not gonna say it.
Uh,
Not gonna fucking say it.
you are playing with fire on that one.
Not gonna say it. It's happened. So I'll say this. They haven't lost it yet, but it has been late.
Well,
I usually always know where it's at. I also air tag my stuff.
yeah, I got 2 air tags from my
So that
bags.
was the most important thing that I think
But
I've done.
the thing is, like, I switch flights all the time too.
Yes.
And do you have any baggage? No, I'm good to go, man.
Sure.
I don't want to worry about that.
Yeah. I'll be honest, most of the time that happens is on the flight going home
Coming
anyway.
back, yeah.
So I usually don't give a shit at that point.
You're just like, it'll show up.
I'll see
Yeah.
my stuff one day.
Yeah.
It's a great way to not
I've
get
only
your
had
stuff.
to I've only had to go to the airport one time to pick up a bag that was late.
Do you fly out of the Allentown airport or the Philadelphia airport?
Okay, so I don't mess with Philly. That's
Really?
a ball. Okay,
I
so
don't mess with Allentown. I always go to Philly.
Allentown's my favorite airport of all time to fly.
I've
into.
always gotten screwed there, so I just go
No,
to Philly.
I-
More options.
I have problems at the connecting airports because there's always shit going on. But Philadelphia or Allentown, I walk in, there's no line. They're happy to greet me. I get to look at posters
I
of
wouldn't go
Mack
that
trucks
far.
on the wall because the Mack trucks are built like 500 yards away.
Really?
Yep. And then TSA is like, hey, how's it going? You want a cookie? Then you walk through the TSA without problems.
Yeah.
Then you go and you sit in like the half-assed terminal they have with like a gate that hasn't been used in 20 years. And then the other gate that they use for every single flight.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hang out and it's a nice time. Then you get on the plane.
But then you have to go connect somewhere. You have to what fly to Charlotte?
I can only get direct flights to Chicago or Charlotte.
Yeah. So
Now-
you have to connect to Charlotte every single time.
I am experimenting with United next week.
I flew to United the other day.
I've heard
No
decent.
problem.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my thing is because I check my bags, going to another airline, I'd have to start paying for my bags then until I got status.
Mm,
That's the only thing I don't like. So I'm trying
Yeah.
to choose the flights that I use. I'm trying to go with the flights that I don't need to bring all my shit. So if I can, like,
Yeah.
you started carrying the bag that doesn't have all your gear in it.
what do you mean?
Do you carry the orange bag everywhere still?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you carried that black bag, or you just do that locally, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I always have my so with airlines, I used to just always fly American because that's the
It just made sense.
and it's the biggest airline in the world, and they can get you just about anywhere in the United States.
Yeah.
So it was nice to just be consistent with one airline. COVID happened, and then all the airline routes went to shit because now they started eliminating all these routes that were direct flights that I used to have. So I used to be on American direct flight almost every time.
Mhm.
But then they got away. They completely got away with that. So you either have to go through DFW, Chicago, Philly is a big one, Charlotte. There's like a few airports that they route everything through now.
Right.
And you're almost always connecting.
Mhm.
And then what happened? And it was nice during COVID because no one was flying. So you get upgraded every flight and you didn't care. But then everybody came back and they forced all their damn
Yeah.
flight attendants and pilots into retirement, idiots. And even though they took all the government money. So
Mhm.
yeah. We're going to take all the government money and then still be completely ridiculous at operating a business.
Right.
So then all the like the flights just became a total disaster. And I got so sick of being bumped on flights that I started just picking, if there was a direct flight option, that's the airline I'd fly. So now I have zero loyalty to any kind of airline whatsoever after being screwed by American so many times.
I mean-
Southwest, United, Delta. I'll fly whatever airline it is as long as it's direct. Unless it's something like Allegiant or Spirit. I don't mess with that.
Refuse.
Yeah.
Well, when we're going to Salt Lake City, we're doing, United out and Southwest back.
Probably Delta.
really,
Or maybe Delta out.
Yeah,
Sorry,
was just
I
gonna
couldn't
say,
remember, but it was one of those.
Yeah, Delta.
No.
That's like their second biggest.
But
hub.
airline loyalty, totally overrated.
Huh.
I'm over it.
And
I'm
we
to
did-
the point of my travel career where I'm done with it.
And we just talked about that like yesterday, where my whole thought process this whole time has been American because they're cheaper. Just about every day. It's like $50 or something.
Yeah.
And then you add the bags in and it's like another $80. But like, you talked about like that kind of reset my mindset on things because it's like, oh yeah, Delta's like another $50. Well, it's a direct flight and I'm not on the plane for 8 hours or
Correct.
something.
Yeah. So okay, so you're gonna get there in 5 rather than 9 hours.
Yeah.
So that's 4 hours of time. What's your time worth? You can figure that out with
Mm-hmm.
your, just divide your salary by hours and there's your hourly rate typically.
Right.
And then the stress of having to connect and then the risk of potentially missing the connection for whatever reason. And it's just like you pencil it out, you're better off just spending for a direct flight
But remember
most of the time.
I remember seeing you say something about that. This isn't the first time I've heard you say that in the last couple weeks. And me and Jay were just talking about this the other day in the car. And he's like, I was just listening to the podcast where Aaron talks about airlines and loyalty. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if that applies anymore. So you might have to go redo some of the internal podcasts.
What, airlines and loyalty?
Yeah, because you talked pretty heavily like a year ago about how you need to stick with one airline and build your things up, and then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You might have to
see, that's
adjust because of your new vision.
Well, that's an example. I have done more of that in the past year than ever before of, yes, here's my very strong opinion. And then 6 months later, here is my new very strong opinion in the complete opposite direction of what my previous strong opinion was, because I was wrong and I have learned new information.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw that idea out, you grab the new one, you're like, this is better for me right now. And then this one will probably be wrong in a year. And I'll probably be like, you should just fly with one airline, or even, hopefully, fingers crossed at that point, I don't have to deal with the airlines anymore.
True. See, that's the difference between me and you, is that I'm never wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure. Do we should probably talk about something of substance on this podcast?
If you want.
We did. We don't have to do the intro thing anymore.
No way, man. We're in it.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
we're
we've
deep
been
in it.
Been going for a while now.
Hold on. Before we do that, first order of business. I just went to Walgreens before I came in because I have allergies and I haven't been on my meds in a couple days.
Uh-huh.
I was standing at the checkout. Reese's cups with potato chips in them.
Weird.
At the front counter. And I was like,
I don't know how I feel about that. That might be good. We want a little crunch in there, How do you see that is such an American thing? How do we take this Reese's peanut butter cup, this candy, and let's make it even more garbage for you?
that is the visual.
Oh, why don't we? Well, and there's like a potato chip bag sitting on the counter, and they're talking about this. Like it's like me and you, and we're the Reese's engineers, and I just had some Lay's potato chips, and I'm like, why don't we sprinkle some of those into the fucking peanut butter cup?
Yep.
Well, that's it. There you go.
That is the visual representation of having no ideas left and just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
But I feel like that's what all these chip companies are doing now.
Oh,
all the
yeah.
different flavors of,
Yeah.
let's just make, oak bark and spicy potato chips.
Yeah.
What? What? Huh?
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm a pretty big snack guy, but I don't get some of that stuff.
On the chicken and waffles? Because you also have to think, okay, a potato
I
chip,
didn't hate them.
like a potato chip, it's not great for you, but it's just a fried potato at the end of the day. Sure, there's some witchcraft when you get into the mass-produced stuff, but it's just a potato. But then you start flavoring them. That flavor, it's not like they take chicken and maple syrup, mix it together, and that's your flavoring.
Yeah.
It's just straight up 100 different chemicals to create that flavor.
It's gasoline.
That is not good for you. And that's what a lot of construction workers eat daily.
I mean, potato chips are not the worst thing that I consume.
Okay, dirt talk.
Let's
Yesterday, BuildWitt Excavating and Grading had a big job in town.
We did.
An actual job and not like a frittering around job?
No, this was a big time contract.
Yeah, no, we
landed.
put a bid in and we had to get a performance bond and everything. I had to send my insurance information over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we bid it at $0 and we got it.
Sure.
So I'll be honest.
That's real low bid.
I showed up on site, in typical BuildWitt grading fashion. I didn't wake up until about 8:30. I went to Dutch Bros, sat in the line at Dutch Bros for 45 minutes, and then I showed up around 10. Then I sat on my phone and took a nap for a while. But I got on site, and you were working for
I was out there grinding.
probably about 8 hours already, because we start at the crack of dawn
Uh-huh.
at 3:30 in the morning. And I'll be honest, I had no idea what we were even trying to accomplish out there. I didn't know the scope of work. All I knew that was dirt was going left to right, and
Yep.
right to left. So then,
In fairness,
what did you do?
I would have. In fairness, we would have been good to go if it wasn't nearly as wet out there.
It was still wet after I processed it all.
Yeah, but if it had another few days, that would have been prime, and there wouldn't have been all that muck. That pile of muck. Because the problem was the rake was picking up all the
Okay, I think we need more context.
wet layer of shit on top and the weeds.
Okay.
Because at the end, when I got into it, I wasn't creating big old piles. I was just
It was just that one spot because it wasn't graded
yeah,
properly the
yeah,
first time.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so for context, what is BuildWitt grading? BuildWitt grading
BuildWitt excavating and grading.
BuildWitt excavating
We're
and grading.
full service.
We do it all. For some people that don't understand, this is a running joke
Yeah.
at the company.
It's a fictional construction company.
It does not exist, people.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's also the biggest and most capable earth moving contractor in the world.
Yes, and even though I am the official vice president of BuildWitt grading and excavating, and my paycheck shows that, it is not. It's not all there. That is a hard concept for people to wrap their heads around. I think.
Well, that's why I keep doing it.
It's hilarious.
I did it April Fool's last year. Created a fictional grading company just on the internet. Then we got the skid steer.
Yeah.
And now it's
legit.
Legit BuildWitt excavating and grading.
We got a truck, a skid steer, and a trailer.
We are a full bore
We
contractor.
are 95% of the grading contractors
I was
in
gonna
North
say,
America right now.
People make a full-time income with that exact setup.
And we have
That's
a
right.
fuel tank.
That's right.
That's big time production.
We have a fuel tank that leaks a little bit. So we're
that I've never used.
so
that has old diesel in it.
That's right. So we have a $100,000 truck.
Yeah.
We have the nicest trailer you can buy, and we've got a skid steer that has 25 hours on it. So
yeah, that we've already
we owned
rolled
for-
and rebuilt once.
and we don't have to get into that right now.
And then we got forks that we've never used.
Yeah, I took.
that were in the bed of the pickup
I made
for
a
6
joke.
months.
I made a joke the other day that I picked them up 8 months ago. It was 8 months ago.
Yeah.
They've actually been sitting
We
there.
had a pair of skid steer forks in the back of another pickup truck
Yep.
for 8 months.
Oh man,
But
we're so fucked up.
It's so much fun. So having a skid steer and running doing some work is one therapeutic for me. I just like being in a machine. You know this as well as I do.
It's not therapeutic for me when you run a machine.
Well, but when you're not
You need good therapy afterwards.
yeah. I very much enjoy being in this seat of a machine. That's one. Two, it helps me broaden my perspective on what contractors do day to day. And it's not, I'm not saying I'm living the life of a contractor for even a day, but even like having to chain a machine down, you're just sitting there thinking, this is a pain in the ass. This sucks. Like I get why people don't chain their equipment down because this is really annoying.
Yeah, think about a lowboy guy we only have we got the small chains. Like we're only set up to move like a 308.
Dude, someone like chaining down a D11 for transport.
They're throwing around the big shit. Imagine doing that like 30 times a day maybe.
Oh my God. No wonder you have to go eat your Reese's potato chip just to keep up with the calories you're burning.
You need endorphins to get through your day, and that's the only thing that's going to give them to
you. So it gives me a much better perspective on, because I can be around job sites all day long, but until you actually put yourself in that position, it's a different ball game. And I've worked for construction companies. Someone was the other day like, you should be a laborer because you don't know shit until you're a laborer. It's like, well, that's where I started in the industry. I started as a laborer, so I've been in a ditch with a shovel. I've done my time.
Yeah.
But actually, like just being out there on your own, responsible for a piece of equipment, no safety net, no one to really guide you. You kind of just have to figure it out as you go. I didn't grow up with any of this or nothing. So I am learning everything from scratch.
Yeah.
I can't call up my old man and be like, hey, Pops, how the fuck do I chain down a machine? Because he's gonna.
Well, and that's
what are you even talking about? Chain down a machine.
True, and
I'm a lawyer.
That's my first call with anybody these days. If I have something that happens, or
what, your dad?
Yeah, like my whole career.
You meant your dad?
Yeah, no, your dad.
Yeah. Well, he's a lawyer, so if you have legal trouble,
maybe one day I'll keep that in mind. You never know. BuildWitt grading, excavating goes to some wacky places. But that's the guy that taught me everything. Whether it was him or my uncle or my grandfather, but mostly my dad. Which I hate saying sometimes, but I'm still proud of that because I had somebody like that. And that's recently given me a different perspective on things because not everybody had that. And it's taken me a while to realize that the people in this industry don't all have like their first generation blue collar, and I'm third. So it's like a lot of so the reason that I'm so young and the reason so my last job title before I came here was project manager, estimator. I was basically running the whole very small side of a company that just did dirt work.
I forgot about that.
It was a very short stint because the company sucked. That's why I'm here, remember? I wanted a D3 and they wanted the speedboat, and I quit that. So that's a whole other story. But the reason I was only 24 when I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not a lot of 24-year-olds that can successfully bid on work, do the work, hire people, understand the people you need to hire, understand how to make people work, and manage those people.
Mm-hmm.
And that job is like an end of your career that's like the last step before retirement kind of job for a lot of guys. And the reason I was so successful at that was because, and I could go back to doing that tomorrow anywhere, is because I got the early part of my career out of the way when I was born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's pictures of me on my dad's lap in a 16G riding around a quarry on a Sunday. So the chaining down a machine, the how to use a shovel without looking like an idiot, cleaning tracks, keeping a machine clean, not rubbing the counterweight, like all that stuff was, before I was 14, out of the way.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like all the basic, the baseline stuff that you need to have to work in this industry that people collect when they get into when they're either 18, didn't go to college, or got out of college, or however they got in the industry. It takes them that amount of time to collect that. So I've had to kind of like reset myself when I came to work here, because going around the country and seeing all these different things and meeting all these different people, it's like, oh, I'm a little further ahead, but I feel like I'm 50 sometimes because I have a lot more knowledge than people, and I kind of take that for granted. And where I was going with that is, people are always like, well, how did you learn how to do this so fast? I'm like, well, I spent a lot of time with my dad, and I've had it a couple times where it's like I'd be working on a site with my dad, under him or beside him or wherever. It's like, oh, just the boss's kid fucking up something else or whatever.
Well,
and I hated that.
It drives me nuts.
Which sucks, because I always enjoyed working with my dad, and I felt like I never really felt like I needed to go work somewhere else to not feel like that. But it just, I don't know. I hated hearing it sometimes.
But in this industry, it's just flat out wrong too, because usually if you're the boss's son in a blue collar trade, you are worked harder than anybody else, and you have been working like that since the standards are so much higher for you than they are anybody else, and sometimes they're arguably, and I've seen this happen a lot, so high that they're not achievable, which crushes some of these young kids. But it's that it drives me nuts that everybody has to be the fucking toughest guy on the job site, and it's such a small-minded approach. And all that is, I'm just trying to discount you because it makes me feel better based on where I'm at, because I'm not where I want to be. So you must have gotten a leg up and all these advantages. And sure, it is an advantage, but also you've had to utilize it as such.
And I earned every seat or job that I got.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, I had this. So like, what was I supposed to do? Tell my dad to go fuck himself?
Yeah.
And at 6 years old, no, Dad, I want to go do this on my own. I no input whatsoever, and then go get a job when you were like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
So, and that's where I came from, this other background where, I grew up well off. Yeah, I grew up around business owners my entire life. Yeah, they're really fucking wealthy people. Okay, like that was the reality of my childhood. I'm going to take that and I'm going to use the hell out of it because I was given this gift. I'm going to make the most of that gift. Fucking sue me. Like, what am I supposed to do? Sit around and
And I was
I'm
just
gonna be a shithead instead.
Well, I was just gonna say, you could have easily gone and been a shithead, or
being a shithead is really easy when you grow up very wealthy.
But I've also met your dad, and he's told me straight up that he would have never let that happen, because he would have never funded you to go fuck off.
No,
like, I know your dad.
Yeah,
and he's not.
He doesn't pay for this. I wish he did. I tell people that, and I mean it. Like, that'd be sick.
Oh yeah.
Like, if my dad actually helped financially the business, it'd make everything way easier.
Yep. But he bought an NSX, so. But no. the last job that I had where I was working with my dad, it would have been 3 years ago, and I was running the only new dozer on the job, and I earned that seat.
Was it Komatsu
It was the D51 that I ran. It was the first time I ran a Komatsu for a long period of time
with the AstroTurf?
with the AstroTurf in the floor. So I kept So that was something else that my dad taught me was keep the machine clean.
Yeah.
That's where you live. And it drives me nuts that people like don't take care of their equipment because they spend so much time in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that size of machine, that D51 size class, like 35, 40,000 pound machine. From there to like a D6 or D8 in some cases, that machine's everywhere all day long, always doing stuff. Especially if you have GPS, you always have something to do. So there's no room for me to get out and just hang out for like an hour and take a lunch break.
Yeah.
Which I did. But you're always busy. So there's no room for you to just like get out and hang out. And if you have to be in that environment all day, why do you want to be in dirt or with trash on the floor, dip spit on the fucking windows?
Some of them pretty gross.
Yeah. So I had that
Yeah.
machine. Let's see. I got it at 25 hours. The guy before me, total pig, made a mess out of it. I spent 2 days just cleaning dip spit and sunflower seeds off the floor.
Gross.
So it was nasty. Got it cleaned up. And got it smelling better, not like bad. And then I had this great idea because I used to take my boots off because if you're running, believe it or not, your knees will actually be worse off if you're wearing boots in the machine all day. Now, I'm not, disclaimer, please don't take your boots off if you're in an environment that doesn't allow for this.
At a big company, that's
a no-no.
For sure against their safety
And
policy.
it was against this company's safety policy as well.
Yeah.
But I can see it because if my machine caught on fire
I
had to get out and hurry, I'd be barefoot.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I'm smart enough to that's fine. But I was like, it'd be cool and really bougie is if I ordered AstroTurf and custom cut it to fit the floor of the machine. That's what I did.
It looked
It was
slick.
really nice and it
Yeah.
swept out really easily. So and I got a lot of shit for that. But
Dude, they in Saudi Arabia, those guys have their cabs all decked out.
I love seeing videos of those guys online.
Oh, yeah.
Like the tractors and things that they have over there, and
Yeah,
they just do them up.
they've got.
I wasn't that.
They'll have curtains in their
Yeah.
machines, so it'll be a brand new 349,
Mhm.
next gen 349 with curtains.
Ridiculous.
Curtains.
Yeah.
And like the little string across, and they can draw the curtains so that there's no sun in their face,
That
or they
started-
can just sleep.
That started like in the trucker culture.
It's sick.
It's sick. It's just too much for me. The carpet was enough for me to keep up with.
Well, what we were talking about this morning, I like how a company like Mushlets, they put the operator's name on the machine,
Mhm.
like operated and maintained by. Is that? I think that's the wording. Operating and maintained by.
Yep.
And then whoever's name is whoever's machine that is.
Yep.
That's a
There was-
very effective way to create a strong sense of ownership.
Okay, so I've worked for that company. Not a lot of people know that, but like my career has come full circle where I'm taking pictures and talking to the owner of the company that I used to work for. at one
You
point,
photographed the machines that
Yes.
you've run in the past.
which is so cool for me.
Yeah.
And like that machine. So let's use an example. So I was running a D6T when I was there.
You used to be respected, and now you're just a guy taking pictures.
Now I'm
fuck
just
that
an
guy.
asshole that gets in trouble on site and gets the foreman in trouble
Yeah.
because I walk on site without doing the site safety
Yeah.
presentation.
God forbid.
So that D6 that I was running, I think it's only seen 4 operators. I was the second. I ran it for a little bit, and then I went to somebody else, and now it's on its 4th guy. And that guy's had it for 3,000 hours, I think.
Wow.
So when you go work at that company, you're on that machine, and I would say 95% of the time that's your machine.
Mhm.
If you're getting moved from job to job or something, you might get on. They have like, I don't know, maybe 10 machines that are just floaters and fill in like an older track loader and older things like that, like a 330C. But almost every machine there has a dedicated person on it. They have, okay, so we were talking about the track loader this morning. They have a 973C. It just got a 10,000 hour rebuild last winter. So it's probably close to 11,000 hours now.
That's actually not too bad for a C model.
No, the engine threw a rod through the side of the block.
Yeah.
Yeet.
Yeah, that's a pricey one.
But that machine has seen 2 operators, I think. And that guy that's running it will not run anything else.
Hmm.
Like he will, but if he
Yeah.
had a choice, that's
Well, and the whole moving operators around equipment or sticking operators to there's multiple schools of thought.
Mhm.
And one isn't more right than the other. Like I understand the dispatching nightmare that creates and the resource allocation nightmare that creates if you're
oh yeah.
pairing people with equipment. That it creates some potential problems.
It's doable though if you plan around it.
But it's doable.
And the
exactly.
company culture that creates over there.
Exactly.
I don't know any other company like that.
And I would argue that the better way to do it is stick operators with machines because and all these companies, they just look at it from a production standpoint, from a resource allocation standpoint, and they just look at it like a numbers game and they forget that it's also a human being game.
Yep.
And so they just and what does that do to a guy if you're caring for this machine and then you're pulled out and you're put in a pile of shit and you're sitting there like what the hell?
Yep.
So I think it's far better off from a human being standpoint, productivity standpoint, pride standpoint, if you keep people paired with equipment as much as possible.
Well, and they take the pride in it. And that's why I ended up working at that company is like where I picked up on that shit. Like really taking care of stuff.
And in fairness too, this is not a company digging residential basements.
No.
This is a company doing the biggest earth moving jobs in that part of the country.
Yeah. They're doing a 5 or 6 million yard job right now.
Great.
So
yeah, this is a very capable, large company. This is not this little pipsqueak operation.
And having that attitude, like that's the attitude and like the level of responsibility that gets me in those new machines when I'm, when I was working. That was the reason why I was in the D51.
Yeah.
Because not because my dad was the site superintendent, because I was going to take care of that machine and I had the GPS knowledge. That was the other thing. The other guy didn't know how to use GPS. And I was productive. The other guy would go and take a nap.
Well, it's the intelligent machine, so it's all integrated, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was massless. Yeah. It was a 51 PXI-24.
Yes.
Yes. Does that mean anything to you?
No. Komatsu machine, it's like, yeah, it's a Komatsu dozer.
PX is LGP. EX is standard track.
I didn't even know that.
The I is intelligent, and then the -24 or -22 or -23, that's the model series.
So
EG, whatever cat is.
People think I know everything about equipment. I'm not a technical mind. I have a very limited understanding of equipment compared to most people I meet on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the big picture.
Yes.
A lot better than most people.
Sizes and weights. That's all you really need. And what works where.
Yeah. And like someone saying, well, why don't you use this machine over this machine? And I'm sitting there looking at big picture like, no, you jackass. This was sitting in the yard. It's paid for. Of course they're going to use this rather than go try to rent something that you can't even rent right now. Like, yes, you're right. But also you're completely wrong based on big picture financial logic in this industry.
The bias thing is it's all. I hate like I have to buy this brand because it's better. Like, and I'm the same way. Like, I'm very vocal about those Komatsu dozers, but at the end of the day, if I had an old D6 or some John Deere,
Chris just bought an old D6.
Oh, did he?
One owner.
Really?
Yeah, one owner, low hour, D6.
How have I not seen that?
Shit. He just posted it. He sent me a picture of it.
I don't see a lot of stuff these days because
and then he posted on the internet. Let's Dig sends me insider information before it goes on the internet. I don't even watch his videos though, because I don't have time for that.
Wow,
I tell him that every single time. Like, I don't know why so many people watch your videos.
You're a real friend.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he just bought. It has a brush guard, open cab.
There's a lot of land clearing though. That's good that he bought that.
It's a good looking machine.
Yeah. But regardless of what it is, I'm going to do the same job.
Machine's a machine.
It is. They have their qualities. Like I like the Komatsu trim dozers because I like the visibility and I like the way the controls are set up, and it's just a comfortable machine to run. But
do you want to know why I bought a cat skid steer?
I feel like you've told me this before, but I don't remember.
I think they look better.
Do you want to hear an unpopular opinion that I thought of last night while running it until 7 o'clock? I don't think anybody makes a good track loader, a good compact track loader. I don't think anybody does.
So this is my problem with the OEMs right now, and I'm starting to realize it more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
they're so focused on each other that they're not thinking about how do I just build the best products possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're so there was this presentation not too long ago, and it was a manufacturer talking about their machine compared to all of the other machines in the same size class.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, and I'm sitting there. Do you guys listen to what you're talking? Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Why does it matter what the other guys are doing?
Yep.
That is not actually useful information if you think about it big picture.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I get you have to do benchmarking. I understand that's part of it. I'm not dumb enough to think that's part of it. But do it, and then okay, good. And then go about your business. Why is that the whole sales pitch? We're better than the other guys. Why does it fucking matter?
Because it costs money to re-engineer the wheel.
I don't understand it.
The skid steer concept has been exactly the same since Melrose or Bobcat, whoever, came out with it in the 70s.
And maybe it's the best way to do it.
It's
but I don't
a
know.
guy in the middle with a cage around him and the tracks, the wheels on the outside, and your buckets in front of you. If I'm a big contractor and I need to rent a hoe,
It doesn't matter what you get. You just need an excavator.
I don't care.
You're not gonna sit there, call the rental company. Oh, so it's not Caterpillar?
Now I'm gonna do that personally.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
if
that.
I need a cat, I'm gonna go to Cat.
Yeah.
Thompson Cat.
Yeah. Thompson Machinery.
Thompson Machinery. Because there's multiple Thompson.
Yeah, don't go to the other one. Go to the
Thompson Machinery. Your local Nashville cat dealer.
Thank you, Thompson, for helping us out with everything we do and for all of our repairs.
So, but
I
that
take off my fleet manager hat now.
I will. But okay, 9 out of 10 times, based on my informal polling, people buy machines based on dealer support.
100%.
Not because, wow, I saw this this press release and it says it's 15% more efficient. Well, that's the machine for me. If it's 15% more efficient, I need to buy that.
In all honesty, that's why we bought our skid steer.
Well, yeah. So I think the Cat Skid 1, but then 2, Thompson. Like, I just take it down to Thompson. Everything's taken care of. Everything's taken care of. They make it so easy, and I don't have to worry about a single thing. And so it's a huge, huge advantage over other people. But yes, it's dealer support.
Yeah.
Dealer support.
And
Dealer support.
I feel like a lot of people, I run into so many people that just go out of their way to not use Cat. And it's like, boy, that's got to be hard.
Yes.
Like, unless you have a great other dealer support network, like John Deere offers mostly everything that Cat offers.
It all depends on the region. It all depends where you're at.
It's all region to region.
Yeah.
But I always hear the story of like, oh, I don't use Cat because they screwed me over one time.
Yeah, this salesman screwed me over. I'm like, really?
Well, he probably didn't like call you back or something on a Friday afternoon and you got mad.
Yeah.
And you just decided to go.
Yeah. Or he couldn't give you like a 50% discount on a new machine when they don't have new machines. Like,
I don't know. This
screw
is such
those
an
guys.
emotional industry.
Well, it's
Such an emotional industry.
It's ego driven.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very ego driven. There's big egos. But that's where, yeah, the equipment thing is just like such a weird, I try to look at it from an outside perspective. I'm just like, do you guys actually think about how you approach this kind of stuff?
And like from a cost perspective too, like,
I don't know. But again, as I always say, my opinion is completely worthless.
mostly yes.
Because I'm a fake contractor.
Yes.
So Eric, what have you? Can you explain what you've been doing for the past week?
I'm gonna like break it down.
Trying to
How much?
get this podcast back on track here.
Okay. How much do you want me to talk about it?
Well, don't get too granular, but I'm trying to get at
I just don't know if you want
the whole training thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been recording training software.
Okay.
Or training content.
I don't know if anything was
BuildWitt
off limits
training,
there.
BuildWitt.com. The BuildWitt app. Have you checked that out? Have
Got
you
it.
seen BuildWitt Leaders?
Got
That's all I just want. I just want this to turn into a big promotional commercial
Sure.
for BuildWitt and our
I'm
offerings.
nothing more than a cash
Because that's
cow to
the
you.
only
I get it.
strategy behind the podcast.
Mhm.
Okay. Got it. I've seen the videos. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So last week we were on our 4th or 5th shoot for BuildWitt training. So for those that don't know, we are developing a virtual training app to basically cover all the bases of the industry. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just operator training. It's not just labor training. It's everything. Eventually, if there's going to be anything you want to know, whether it's how to clear land, or how to build a road, or how to dig a foundation, or how to lay pipe, and anything in between, like just basic laboring skills or people management. Last week we did a course on Introduction to Foreman, which I really wish I had like 5 years ago when I was getting into supervision roles.
Yeah.
We're just trying to cut out the amount of time that people spend learning new skills on site. We're trying to alleviate the hard lessons that I had to learn, that Jay had to learn, and all the other people that are helping develop this content.
And this is where we need to be careful about our messaging.
Okay.
Because we're not trying to replace anything. We're trying to
100%.
We're trying to accelerate the learning curve here, but it is not at the same time a replacement for actual experience and learning legitimate lessons.
Yes,
right?
this is...
It's like I can go read a book on how to build a business and I can get some really helpful information that's going to help me build the business, but it's not going to be a substitute for getting kicked in the pants over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And actually trying to figure out how to build a business.
100%. You're still going to have to apply your own knowledge and skills to develop your own skill set with this knowledge. But
yes,
I feel like I've seen that a couple times already, and just to like clear the air, this is not the end all be all to make a better operator or make the perfect laborer.
Well,
they still have to apply themselves and use the knowledge accordingly.
Well, think GPS, for example. Does a GPS blade make a good blade hand? No. You need to be a good blade hand.
You need to know how dirt works. You need to know how to read plans.
You need to know how to read plans. You need to know how dirt works. You need to know
which you'll be able to learn in BuildWitt training.
What other equipment's doing. You need to learn how to set up your work. You need to know how to run that. Just understand how that machine works in the first place. You need to understand GPS, modeling, all that jazz. You put it all together.
Yep.
And then you can become a weapon at finishing if you're a damn good blade hand with the experience, plus a good understanding of GPS. You will be absolutely unstoppable.
And even that, we're going to give you all the information you need to do
all
that.
the information. Yeah.
But you just have to apply it.
Yes.
We're not going to hold your hand and, hey, this is how you do it. Just do it like we're doing it. You have to like have the baseline ability to apply this knowledge. Like it's like learning another language. They're not going to just start talking through your brain for you. You have to physically understand how to accept that knowledge and talk.
Well, and so, like I said, I'm trying to be really careful about our language.
Sure.
And I don't want to be this jackass company that comes in and, oh yeah, we can solve your whole people problem. Easy peasy. We'll just buy our software and your problems are gone. Bullshit. That's not absolutely so far from the reality. This is just another tool to help you. These are human beings. So it's like, great, I'm a foreman and now I have a tool to help train my laborers more effectively. So they don't show up day one and they're a total liability. But that doesn't mean I get to skip spending my time and energy and thought training these people and investing in these people. I just have another tool to help me do that. And it's a really cool tool that doesn't currently exist.
Here's my favorite example of a use of this tool that we're creating. So we talked about how my dad helped me through a lot of things, and I learned a lot from him. We talked about how not everybody has that.
Yeah.
Not everybody has a father figure growing up. That some of you guys have gotten into this industry like you did. Totally different background than anything your family ever thought about doing. And you just decided to go be a fucking construction laborer one day.
Yep.
Okay. This is for you 6 or 7 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, it would have been awesome.
How would
so sick.
Okay, if you're a new laborer, how cool would it be to have a platform that you can go on your phone, on an app, and learn all the basics of the stuff that's happening around you all day?
Yes.
Okay, why is this guy carrying on about why I should be shoveling like this? Or, the operator's asking me to do some things I don't understand how to do.
Yeah. Why is shoveling tracks important?
It's in your back pocket now.
Yeah. So it's like
we're making that.
So we're giving everybody basically Eric's dad in your back pocket.
Yeah. Hope you like getting yelled at and having wrenches thrown at you.
No, but it really is cool too, because me, as a young buck in the industry, it is intimidating as hell to show up on a job site. for your first day.
Yeah.
Or even new company.
Mhm.
You've been in the industry for a while, just showing up at a new company, just going to a new job site with new crews,
Yep.
working under a new GC. Maybe I'm going from a laborer to an operator. It's fucking scary. It's intimidating. And okay, you can act like the biggest tough guy in the world, but deep down, I know you're probably scared shitless. Or at least that's where I've been. That's where I'm at right now running my business. It's like, fuck, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm scared shitless, but I'm learning every day. And if I had this tool where I didn't have to admit, I don't know what the hell that is,
Mhm.
but I can go learn this on the side. And oh, holy shit, that makes so much more sense. And I can show up and I can actually be more valuable
Yep.
and help people out and not have to potentially ask that stupid question
Yeah.
or make that really stupid mistake that I'm laughed at. Boom. There you go.
So I really wanted that when I was transitioning to a foreman, and I was the exact same mindset. It's something like I don't know if it's a pride thing or just I think a lot of people in our generation are built the same way. Like they don't want to ask they just want to know it. I think that's why a lot of people
Because we're used to just going to the fucking internet
Exactly.
for whatever we need.
Exactly. And I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of that content's out there, but it's just everywhere.
Oh,
It's
everywhere.
manufacturer biased in a lot of cases. And
Yes.
it's theory based, and it's just a lot of it's just talking out your ass. And I really wanted that to just have the ability to go online and be like, okay, how do I read this set of plans? Like, I didn't learn a lot of basic stuff. Like, grade rods were like a big mystery to me still, because my dad would teach it to me. And I'd be like, whatever, I don't need that. I have GPS now. So like, I had to learn ground rods or grade rods from the ground up.
Grade stakes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I saying grade stakes?
Yeah.
Because I never had to use them. And then learned that, and that was all the company used then. So it's just, we shot this last week. We shot the former. That's why it's so fresh in my brain. We shot this, and I was the on-camera extra talent. So it's a conversational piece. So it's me talking to Jeremy Bryan, who is the director of field operations at Blunt.
Mm-hmm.
25 years of experience, super great guy. And it's just me, going back and forth, and we're talking about this stuff. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because that course, that training is built for me and my peers 4 or 5 years ago when I needed it.
Yeah. So
I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I knew exactly the information that I wanted to convey to the people that need it now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think it's going to be super valuable, because it's relevant. It's being told by people of experience. And it's not, I feel like people are hearing the word training and they're thinking M should train. They're thinking O should train. They're thinking Bedford Butte.
Yeah.
That is
OSHA 30
That is not what we're doing.
Yeah.
We are not making this cut and dry. We're following regulations. This is all useful information that's not just rules based.
Correct.
This is stuff that you're going to want. This stuff you're going to need. And I think it's going to help so many people with their career. I really do.
It's really exciting. It's really exciting. And it's not like you've been in the fields. We have Jay Collup, who's been around the fucking block, to say the least.
Yeah.
And he'd be great on the podcast.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
It's in motion.
Yeah, he'd be
For sure.
fantastic. And then the cool thing about the place we're in at BuildWitt is we know a lot of very intelligent people,
And-
very experienced people in this industry.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that me as a 26-year-old is experienced and knowledgeable enough to tell you everything and every little nook and cranny of the industry and do it the right way.
Mhm.
Jay's been in it 25, 30 years longer than I have, and he's going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah, but sometimes
But
it's where it comes from too.
that's
Like,
true.
your dad could tell you something, or some guy that you can kind of relate to can tell you the exact same thing. You're more likely to listen to the other guy than your old man.
100%. 100%. But that's why we're not doing it all ourselves.
Mhm.
We're bringing in industry experts to help guide. We're just kind of here to keep the rails on track and help deliver it better.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on.
We're marrying BuildWitt's core competencies, the ability to share information broadly, social media, our network, the ability to produce content.
Mhm.
That's what we've done for 4 years. The ability to find experts and aggregate them into one place. Okay, yeah. So we're really good at that. And then we let the experts do what they do. We're trying to create this content specifically for people in the industry. And this is just Dirt World. We're not also making it for GCs.
Mhm.
We're not also making it for residential construction.
Yeah, we're not doing
Just Dirt World.
Yeah, we're not doing a vertical construction course.
No.
Unless we get into maybe like foundation digging, but that'd be about. I don't think we'll do that for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're not doing carpentry. We're not doing plumbing, interior
No.
plumbing, I should say. We're gonna
No,
do
because that's the problem
utilities.
with all these training courses out there and all this training out there. Is a lot of it is just traditional trades, HVAC, plumbing, so on and so forth. But what about digging a hole? What about reading a grade stake? What about running GPS on a blade?
And not to sound biased, but I think we can do it the best because we don't have a lot of corporate bias
Correct.
and we don't have a lot of people. The people that we do have helping us out, I think, are in our corner and want exactly what we want.
Well, the first shoot, like what equipment brands did you have at the first shoot?
Everything.
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 We got one of everything.
Fire didn't want to
Yeah. I'm not going to say the real reason why we didn't have a certain brand there, but we had Deere, we had Komatsu, we had Volvo, we had
Manitoba.
Takuchi Puchi or Manitou.
Manitou. It's a Gel repainted.
It's the red skid steer.
We did have a Caterpillar, but it was painted blunt gray.
Mm-hmm.
It was a D8. But that was the equipment walk around one.
And we've talked about this. If we have to go buy equipment at auction, we are fully prepared to do that at this point.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Don't buy one of those D7s that have been in salt water.
I'm pretty sure
from Marinex.
That's the first thing I would buy. So I'm pretty sure I hold the record for most money spent in a month here because of the rental car fiasco last summer when everybody started traveling again. I was spending like $2,000 a week on SUVs to get around. We couldn't do anything about it.
That was so messed up.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Just to get content. But I am not afraid to go spend $300,000 on a dose.
That's not as big of a deal.
I've been there. I've been the highest wreck. I've been at the most. So I'm not.
At least it's an asset. At least it goes on a balance sheet.
Yeah, I hated.
We don't have very much on our balance sheet.
I hated buying or spending that much on a rental car because it's like, oh,
you're just throwing it away.
There's $2,000 we're not getting
I
back.
know.
So thank God we're back to normal. But yeah, so that's what we're working on.
Well, kind of back to normal. I got an SUV the other day. They gave us this little Buick that's not much bigger than a sedan. But it's considered an SUV. Then we get a nail in the tire, change it out, and I'm like, oh, thank God, we can get rid of this Buick. And then they give me a Mitsubishi that's an SUV, but it is not an SUV in the slightest.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Like a Ford Edge.
Yes, like a Ford Edge.
Are you executive aisle?
Yes.
Dude, executive aisle?
Yeah, but I was in Key West, so there's no executive aisle in Key West. And then it was a one-way rental.
Okay.
So one-way rental, they're just like, we're going to give you the cars that we don't want here so that you can bring them up to wherever the hell you're going and get rid of them.
The last time we were in QS, it was me and Justin. And I so badly wanted to do this, but I wanted to look slightly professional. We had the choice of minivan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, keep in mind, Justin is like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And we have all our gear. The other option was Mazda Miata with no trunk. And she says that. And she's like, which one do you want? And I turn to Justin. I'm like, Justin, I really want the Miata. Justin, do you think we could fit everything in the Miata? And he's like, no.
I think that's your perfect car.
We didn't have to drive on site anymore. I was like, I got the Miata.
One time we were in Seattle and I forget who it was, but I had a Tahoe or something like that. And then they had to go get another rental car and they got something like, it was like a Chevy Sonic or like a Honda Fit. Or,
that was me.
That might've been you.
And it
was you and Angel.
I got a Hyundai Kona.
And it looked like a clown car because it was chock full of shit. And it was you guys. There was no space left in that car.
I hated that. That was like the ending to like the worst trip we've done.
If you want car reviews, we can probably provide some pretty good, because at this point,
did you see what
I have driven just about every car out there.
Did you see what I had this week?
No.
I had the new I had the newest truck. I try to get trucks now, like a Tacoma or a Ranger.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of F-150s.
They
What was it, a Dodge or a Ram? Excuse me,
Ram.
rebranded.
Okay. Do you know what they have in the executive aisles now that they just bought a bunch of?
What?
Nissan Titan Platinum Reserve. It's like the King Ranch.
At Phoenix. In Phoenix?
Yeah.
I haven't seen those. I
Okay.
rent from Phoenix all the time.
I had so many choices to choose from. I was just walking through the Phoenix aisles. And I was like,
it takes me a while to because there's
sometimes
so many.
you just gotta digest your choice. You have so much.
So
I'm like, what do I want to drive
Well,
around this week?
And then I'll sit and wait for 5 minutes because they're driving a new
Yeah,
car.
yeah. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that does that. Okay, so I was walking around. I was like, oh, I might take this Ram because it was the only thing that was there. It was all minivans. And then I got to the back. I was like, is this still executive aisle? And then I was like, oh, that's a new Titan. And it's the fancy one. It's like a King Ranch.
Wow.
And I got in and I was like, it had 60 miles on it.
Wow.
They had just parked it there.
Wow.
And I started driving away. I was like, holy shit, I think I took somebody's personal vehicle. Because there's no way I got something this nice in the executive aisle without paying extra for it. I had it for 3.5 days.
No,
It was
you
like,
can get some nice ones.
it's $120.
Yeah.
I was like, this.
I'm telling. So we rent from National. The coolest thing about National is there's something called an executive aisle.
Mhm.
You just walk out and you get in any car, you show them your license, you drive off. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to tell someone how your day was. You don't have to explain, are you traveling for business or pleasure? You don't have to explain, are you coming home or are you like none of that. None of that.
Uh-huh.
You just get in your goddamn car and you leave.
I love walking by
Boom.
the aisles of people just waiting for hours and then
Yes.
See
I
you
don't
later.
understand why people
I'm going out in my Denali now. Fuck you
No,
guys. Bye.
I'll fly into a small airport and I have to go talk to someone at a desk. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I have to go talk to somebody and I have to go
Yeah.
sign some paper. Are you kidding me?
We should do
I'm obviously being funny, but also,
a car review podcast of cars we've rented.
yes. So the last time I was in Phoenix, my story from Phoenix,
Yeah.
I am sitting there and I'm waiting. I'm
Mhm.
like, I need something good.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're in these cars for a long period. You're in it for a week. You're going to be doing 1,000+ miles. You want what you want. It's a really big deal sometimes, and especially when we're going out to sites where you need a 4-wheel drive or
Mhm.
you need something bigger.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting, and I don't know what the new Jeep is.
The Compass.
No, it's like the new SUV. Maybe
Oh,
it's
the Grand Wagoneer.
Yeah.
the Grand Wagoneer.
Oh, they have those in there now.
So they drove one up. They drive one up.
no way.
Brand new.
No way.
But here's what happens. Brand new. Drives it up. And it's a guy wearing just like normal clothing and like a normal quarter zip.
Uh-huh.
And he just looks at me. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know if that's a rental. I don't think that's a rental car. And so I kind of start walking away. And he gets out. And some other guy walks right up, gets right in it,
Oh,
and drives
no.
off. I'm like, son of a bitch. I wanted to drive that car. I wanted that so bad just to try it. And then fortunately, lady drives up in a 4Runner. I'm like, I will take the 4Runner.
So I usually
Check.
I always go for the Tacomas or like the new Ranger. The new Ranger. We should buy a new Ranger. Just
What are we going to do with it?
it's my personal truck. It's my work truck. I need a work truck. But it's I get the little pickup trucks because they're better equipped than the F-150s and the Rams because the Rams are base models and the Tacomas are
The Rams are base models.
yes, and the
Yeah.
F-150s mostly are too.
The F-150s are too.
The Rangers are lariats. But pulling up on site in a pickup truck to
They
me,
have a Lariat Ranger?
I'll send
Really?
you the one we need to buy. It's a Lariat Ranger Tremor. It's the closest thing we get to the Ranger Raptor in North America.
Whoa.
It looks like a little Raptor. So that's what I want for my company truck.
I want to get the new Raptor.
I like that they put a bigger engine in now.
There's zero, you cannot do anything about stepping out of a Raptor and looking like a douchebag.
And that's what I was just about to get
Can't
at.
solve that.
Yes.
You are guaranteed to look like a douchebag. And maybe that's
Sorry to any Jay owns a Raptor and he's going to listen to this.
I don't think you can argue it though. And it's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
It's just you can't get out of Raptor and be
On
like,
a
wow,
job site.
On a job
On
site.
a job
like,
site.
oh, that's a wholesome guy. Like everybody would be like, that guy is a prick. They probably already say that about my truck now,
Sure.
but I like my truck now.
Yeah.
So maybe I would just like a Raptor. Drive up in a Raptor. Yeah, I have a Raptor. What about it?
But there's just something about pulling up on site in any pickup truck
Yes.
instead of
It's proper.
it's the way it has to be.
Well, and especially a truck like mine, like a white truck.
Yeah.
Okay, it's quite noticeable. So it's not
Yeah.
totally undetectable. It's not the silver no trim F-150.
Mhm.
But no one asks you questions when you drive up onto a site like that. I could just drive around a mine site, turn on my blinky lights, drive onto a mine site. I could easily get away with it.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't do that obviously because that's
Wink,
against
wink.
the rules. No,
Wink,
I
wink.
used to do that
Yeah.
back in the day.
Now we
but
can't do it anymore.
I
'cause we
am
have too many people
by the
watching us.
book. I am be the example today. But it gives you that. It just gives you credibility.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to explain yourself as much
Mhm.
if you drive up in a vehicle. But if you drive up in a Chevy Sonic to a job site,
It's a bad time.
everybody's looking at you like, who the fuck are you? And obviously you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah. Sorry to anybody that owns a Chevy Sonic.
I know a lot of construction guys that drive Chevy Sonics.
Ralph Rich.
Yes, for the gas mileage.
Mhm.
Because I was
They don't
talking
pay
to my
for the-
brother about this the other day. He's like, "Oh yeah, all the construction guys drive pickup trucks." I'm like, "No, not
No.
really. You'd
Not
be
the-
surprised."
Not the good ones.
Well, yeah, you go to a construction parking lot, a lot of smaller cars because they're having to drive an hour plus sometimes, and they don't want to be spending on. And then they'll have a truck at home.
they'll
they'll
drive
always-
it on like
they'll-
Friday or
They'll
something.
have two vehicles.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, this was
Unproductive.
a completely unproductive hour. And I don't think we accomplished anything of value, but that's at least a podcast that we can publish.
That's dirt talk, baby.
It's an audio file that you can upload on the internet.
I got paid either way, so I don't care what happens.
Me too. We're both salary.
True.
You didn't get paid yesterday though.
Wait, you guys get paid to be here?
No overtime.
Your brother asked me
No
yesterday.
Sunday double time.
Your brother asked me, he's like, "So is he paying you to be out here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm salary." He's like, "It covers like 60 hours a week." I'm like, no, it doesn't, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to clean it up.
But also, what would you have been doing yesterday?
I would have done absolutely nothing because I was stuck in Nashville for an extra day.
Exactly. So you can act upset about it, but also
I don't care. I used to work more anyway. It's fine. I needed that. I need to do that. more.
I would have figured out how to fix my pile of shit. I would have had to call a company to haul it off.
All you had to do is I put it in the hole and I spread it out and then I back dragged it with the Harley rig in reverse. You had to process it. Turned out great.
Oh.
I took all the stuff that you removed and I put it right back where it belongs.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all I did.
That's all dead nuts on grade. It'll drain perfectly now.
Oh, absolutely not, because I did it in the dark and I was in a rush and I had.
I haven't got a picture from Dylan yet saying, "What the hell did you do to the back of my office?"
I just talked to him before and I asked him how it looks and he said, "Oh, I'm not in the office today." I was like, "Well, maybe don't go in today. Maybe go in tomorrow after it rains for a little while."
It's just a mud hole.
Yeah, I'm good, but last night I wasn't that good, so maybe don't go in.
In fairness, though, the lights on the new machines are very bright.
Yes, but no. They're so big they only face forward and you can't turn them down because they hit the cab. So I have to reset. I have to get a bracket or something to bump them out because you can't see the rake.
We should just get a light bar.
I hate how light bars look though because everybody uses
They
them.
look so dumb.
I want to do what Dirt Ninja has on his. He's got like the pods instead of the light bar.
Yeah, I like those.
I like those way better. They
those
look
are
better.
way better.
Like
Yeah.
Euro styled.
Yes.
Europeans have figured out. Okay, well this was fun.
Okay.
I have to pee. So.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in to Wood Dirt Talk. See you on the next one.